Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to do a few more enhancements to my Buckets Retirement Calculator worksheet. So in previous video, calculated the annual returns for the S&P 500 from 1928 to 2020, also calculated a 5-year rolling average and a 10-year rolling average. I've got a lot of students in my class though that are pretty young, so I wanted to add a 20-year average, and then I want to use COUNTIF and count functions in order to find out roughly what the odds of losing money would be. So let's go and do that 20-year average. That's going to be pretty easy. So I'm simply here, and let me zoom in a little bit more on this worksheet. I'm going to insert, just right click on a column letter and insert a new column, and Excel is pretty helpful. It's trying to copy the formatting over from the adjacent column, and that's great. And I'm going to go ahead and take these values. In fact, I can take these values and drag them over once to kind of copy them. Now, don't be put off by these zeros and this error. That's because it's basing its results off of a range of cells that don't contain any values yet. We're going to fix that soon enough. However, this is going to be a 20-year average. So just double click on a cell. That'll put you right into edit mode. You can change that to a 20. There we go. So I've got my rolling 20-year average. So now I got to figure out where the 20-year mark is. Well, if I take 1928 plus 20, that would take me to 1948. So that should be 20 years right there. And one way I can quickly confirm that is I can select 1948 up to 1928, and you might not be able to see this. Actually, I'm a little bit off. That's 21 years. I'm looking at the little count display, which is probably underneath my video, but down there in the status bar for Excel. So I really need to be going 1928 to 1947. That would be 20 years, and that's where my first 20-year rolling average formula is going to go. So let me put that right up here. Equals average, and I'm going to average the annual S&P 500 returns for the prior 20 years, and I can just press enter there, and that lets me know that from 1928, all of 1928 through 1947, the average annual return was 7.53%. Cool. Now that I've got that 20-year average calculation, I can just double click that fill handle, and it's going to bring this all the way down. Now you notice this green coloring that I have on there. That's from a previous video where I used color scales conditional formatting to affect the look. And we like to see those greens. In fact, let me go ahead and select these cells. You notice I'm getting my little cautionary green tab in there. Let me just go ahead and select those, and I'm going to ignore that error. It's not really an error, it's just Excel warning me that the calculation, the formula in these cells is a little different than the ones next to it. So it's just worried I may have made a mistake, but I haven't. I'm going to click on column D. I'm going to click my format painter up on the home ribbon, click on column E, so that way everything has the same formatting. Here's what I really like about this. If you know you're going to be investing for 20 plus years, look at this. The max return over any 20-year period, 18.3%. The average return over any 20-year period, over 12%. And the lowest return over any 20-year period, 5.5%. So not only are you not likely to lose money, you're not likely to even have a bad return. I mean, nothing wrong with 5.5%. Yeah, it's not 18%, it's not 12%, but if you made 5% where other people were making 0 or negative, not bad. Well, how do you help ensure that? Can't guarantee it for sure, but how do you help ensure those returns? Well, you invest for 20 plus years at a time. So if you have a longer time horizon, it's much more likely that you're going to have returns which are similar to historical returns. Historical returns don't predict future returns, but we can use them as kind of a base point to figure out what's realistic. I've already got this section of my sheet set up. I want to find out what are the odds of having a down year. So the first one we're going to figure out is investing year by year. That means you invest the first week of January, you cash out at the last week of December, and you do that every year. Not a smart way to go, certainly. So we're going to write in a function here, equals COUNTIF. The range in question is going to be the 1928 all the way to 2020 returns. There we go. So that's the range that I want to count. Now my criteria is going to be, in quotations, less than 0. I'm looking to count how many cells contain a return less than 0, a loss. Now I'm going to divide that COUNTIF by the count of B5 to B97. So I'm counting the number of negatives divided by the total, and that's going to let me know that if I invest year by year, I might have roughly a 27% chance of losing money. Now, if I take that information and let's see, I want to, I'll drag this down, but we need to check out our formulas here. So let's go to our 5-year rolling. Now, our 5-year rolling isn't going to be based off of B8 to B100. It's going to be based off of C5 to C97. And I'll just retype that there. C5 colon C97. And it's not, that's pretty good. We're still counting less than zeros. That should be accurate. There we go. So for 5-year periods, we have about a 7% chance of losing money. And then we can tweak this right down here, this last one. This last one's not going to be B11 to B13. There we go. And I'll just manually type this one in. D5 colon D97. Anything less than 0? 0% chance. For a 10-year rolling period, we never had a 10-year period that lost money. The lowest was in that 2008 recession when the 10-year return was only 0.65%, pretty much breaking even, right? But that's pretty good. Now, of course, once we're at 0%, there's no reason to calculate the 20-year average in that same way. But at least now we've got some good information. What are the odds you think that you would lose money over a 20-year period based on historical data? Thanks for hanging out with me.